Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today I want to talk about something very important, and I really felt like it was a given, I guess, and very obvious to me, but I've seen it being brought up over the years, and I've seen it being mentioned in online spaces, and well, I guess let's talk about it. You should disclose certain things to your sexual partner if it's a hookup, if it's a relationship, and specifically I wanted to focus on a hookup basis, and I do believe while cruising as well. So I will speak obviously from a trans man perspective, and I will be focusing this, but I do feel like this is something that you should expose and tell people regardless if you're trans, if you're non-binary, if you had bottom surgery, if you hadn't had bottom surgery. You should be upfront with it, up to the point that I've seen people say that they mention it as they're removing their clothes. And can you imagine being in a situation where, how to put this softly, the person is transphobic and decides to attack you, to put it very mildly, and maybe you won't even make it outside the door after that? So you're literally putting yourself under the risk just because you don't want to disclose it. Why are you sleeping with someone who can be a threat to you? Like, this isn't some sort of kink level. And I do understand that sometimes we don't want to expose to people that we're trans, but in this case, we're going into a personal boundary. A sexual encounter is a certain boundary. You are in a certain space. If this person finds out, and specifically in the current climate, in general, this is something that you need to tell. So I've seen people say that, like, oh, after follow, or like after meta, or whatever, or I use a packer and I don't tell girls, guys, whatever, that I'm trans, and I've even seen people use analogies like you don't disclose all your STI history, and it's like, well, how to put this? It's a bit different when the stigma is obviously, like, you should disclose your, like, if you're HIV positive, if you're non-transmissible, undetectable, it's still something that someone else who you're sleeping with should know, and it is a breach of trust. And well, first of all, I'm a very big sort of person on disclosing it on the app when I do go to hook up. I don't hook up very often these days, but when I do, I really make sure. And then, before I send photos, I even make sure, even then, that, hey, I'm this. I'm a trans man. These, like, obviously, if you have questions, ask. Or sometimes I just say, hey, I'm a trans man, is that okay? Or like, I'm a trans man. Or I send photos and I make sure that people understand. I do not meet people without them knowing that I'm trans. And I'm really, like, rattling my brain, but I really don't think I've had a situation where the guy did not know that I was trans and it ended up being okay, but I had it on my profile and I said, why did you not read it on my profile? And we had a massive discussion about it. And then I realized that I should be extra careful because I was already in the guy's house. And he was fine with it. But it did sort of make a light bulb above my head, like, hey, I really need to check in case I end up in a dangerous situation. And being trans is also one of the reasons why I never tried cruising. I have enough activity on Grindr, excuse me. And even if you want to cruise, I still feel like it's better to do it in a safe space, in a sort of designated area. You can still have anonymous sex on Grindr. And in this case, sure, you can judge me for sort of saying, yeah, but what if I actually do want to cruise? Yes, but you can also quickly say, hey, like, I'm trans, is that okay? That's it. Or any other thing. But the problem is, if the person finds out and the person does not take it well, you just might not finish the hookup alive. And hearing this really sort of grinded my gears, and I do understand that obviously we have dysphoria. We are treated as something else very often. We are treated less of a guy, or like in trans woman cases, less of a girl, or non-binary, less as human, less as they identify as. But why would you put yourself and give a person an impression of someone who you're not, even if it's just for the sexual gratification? And sorry to be blunt, but if you're having good sex, you will forget about your dysphoria. How to put this bluntly? The person who knows that you have dysphoria and if you can work around it. Obviously, dysphoria can't vanish overnight, but it's still better to sort of confront dysphoria than end up being dead in a ditch. And I did say it a bit harshly, but of course there are certain cases where, like, I've had dysphoria, I've had to stop sexual acts. I've had to say no to people, like, I don't feel it, like it. My dysphoria is going through the roof, I'm too anxious, and that's okay. But there was never an instance where I would think, no, I'm not gonna reveal that I'm trans to this person. And I do understand that maybe from a cruising perspective, like maybe if you're giving head, it doesn't matter if you're in an orgy. But I still feel like I would disclose it in some certain way. Or if I knew that I was in an LGBT, very trans-friendly club. And then it can... I know it sounds weird, but it can make certain people upset. Like, I've had hookups, for instance, like, where people then reveal that they're non-binary, and I have no issue with hooking up with non-binary people, obviously. But it still felt a bit weird. It was like, why didn't you disclose it? And I have been, like, catfished in the past, like, people then telling me, oh, I'm actually trans. Someone I had a massive issue with, and a very difficult situation with that. In the past, I even forgot about it, actually. But yeah, like, you need to disclose these things. And on the opposite, you're a shitty person if you don't do that. Like, how to put this? If you yourself are thinking not to disclose, or disclose it later as if like when they will like you, you're just being a jackass. I'm sorry, there's no other way to put it, and you are a red flag and people should stay the fuck away from you. I understand that it is very important to find people who will align with you, who will like you, but that should be started with honesty, not some lie. And trans just happens to be something that we are, and you don't have to reveal it to the grocery cashier. You are just revealing it to someone who goes into your personal space, and you are going into their personal space. So yeah. And yeah, I am pretty pissed about it. So that I've seen like sort of people of all sort of ages trans experience, sort of who have been out forever, who have been out recently, defend this, and just like certain things that we shouldn't do, like bind with ace bandages. We shouldn't be hooking up without disclosing. So this one's like obvious to me. So yeah, today's topic was very straightforward. If you do not disclose, please start disclosing. Please think. On a serious note, you should really start disclosing, because it can lead you to unpleasant situations. It can lead you to be in risk. And I do understand that we want to live a closeted or a stealth life, but certain things have to be compromised in order for your own safety. So I do hope that if someone's thinking about this or doing this, this clears it up or raises a few discussions. So if you know anyone who's doing this, please stop. If you are someone who's doing this, please stop. Yeah. If you agree, give it a like. Feel free to leave any comments. I am not actually fucking budging on any opinion on this. You should be disclosing this. The only reason I might see it as sort of maybe is cruising on certain areas if there's a certain agreements. But then there would be a certain agreement already, or if the person is knowing, or if it's like an orgy or something, maybe fine. But if it's a one-on-one with pure contact, it should be disclosed, in my opinion. Obviously, there are certain, again, like I said, there are certain, again, maybe you're just giving oral, but I would still disclose. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please feel free to spread this important piece of information. I have no fucking idea why the fuck I even had to do this video. Feel free to subscribe. I've been very grateful for the attention my videos have been getting, and no, I actually feel very humbled. It's just that the topic kind of wired me up. But thank you very much for all the love I've been getting, and yeah, I really appreciate it. I know I'm not the best at replying comments at times, but I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week, and hopefully I won't be as strange. Thank you.